Welcome back, our second edition of From Hellada.
Hi!
Hi! Hey.
It's hi, Jenny. It's hi.
Oh, hi. Hi.
We have a new guest today, Dave the Rainbow.
Rainbow.
A few words about you, Dave. Say a few words about yourself.
Hello, Dave the Rainbow. I'm a local Long Beach artist, painter, photographer. I do a bunch of different events around town for the last few decades or so. And I was invited to come out and talk.
Is that true that everybody knows you?
I guess. A lot of people know me. I don't really know everyone, but my name's out there.
You didn't have to introduce anybody here, we know that.
Welcome, Dave.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you interested why he called himself Dave the Rainbow?
I am interested. I've heard Dave the Rainbow. I swear I've met you before. I saw your face and I was like, I know him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I am interested. What is Dave the Rainbow? What is it?
The rainbow's magic, magical. It just appears out of nowhere. And then there's a rainbow, and everybody's like, oh my god, look, there's a rainbow. And it makes everyone smile and happy, and then it just goes away, and then people just go on with their day. And it's a phenomenon of life, and I feel like I embody that.
I've never heard that story, and I know you a long time.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Is there gold at the end?
There's always
Dave the
gold.
Rainbow.
Always gold at the end of the rainbow, yeah.
That sounds to me like nice beginning of a story to tell. So Nancy, tell us about
Storytelling. Okay, so upcoming this Friday, there's a new storytelling series at Eleanor Bar, which is that fun, funky, cool little spot behind Maid. It is called Riveted, and this is going to be volume 2. So this is a brand new showcase, and it is so good. Okay, because I went last month in January, and they have 4 featured storytellers, and they're all moth level storytellers. So this Friday, you've got 4 new storytellers, people who have been on the Moth and KCRW and KPCC. So we've got some super hard hitting storytellers coming up this Friday at Riveted. Riveted Storytelling Showcase.
You want to tell us the significance of Riveted?
Well, the significance of Riveted is that you want to be riveted by a storyteller. I don't know.
You're not familiar with the story behind Eleanor's. Eleanor was one of the original Rosie the Riveters.
Okay.
It's actually named after Eleanor, who was one of the original Rosie the Riveters. She just, about 8 or 9 months ago, had her 100th birthday, celebrated there, and that's the story behind Riveted and Rosie the Riveter and Eleanor's.
That is good to know. That's really nice. So, yeah, that's coming out this Friday.
Storytelling is the oldest form of art on planet Earth. I don't have to remind everybody about Bible and other stories that we've learned from centuries ago. So that's
Just imagine what we're doing right now, sitting around a fire, hunter-gatherer humans telling us stories. Watch out for that saber-toothed tiger. There's this one time that I saw it behind this bush. So, it just hasn't much changed since then.
I'm going to talk about the Eleanor. If you would like to not watch the Democratic debate parties, then don't go to the Eleanor on certain days. And Riveted has already been said. The Jazz, Eleanor presents the Jazz Baker Band Saturday, February 22nd, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. These guys are pretty good. I've seen them.
Baker Brothers?
No. I don't know. Not the Baker Brothers. I think it's there's called the Jazz Baker. Is there a band called the Baker Brothers?
Well, the Baker Brothers have a band. I'm wondering if that's it.
No, not to my knowledge. No, it's just Jazz Baker and the Jazz Baker Band, and it's a band that does jazz. They are known pretty much around Southern California. People know them in Long Beach, and let's see. Yeah, that's what's going on at the Eleanor. The other one that I can think of that's for this week. The only one in Long Beach that I know is going to have blues on Friday night is the Seabird Lounge. It's every other Friday now instead of every Friday. Southside Slim will be there. He's my opinion, one of the best blues guitarists in California. And so, right off the bat, this is a good show. He brings Lester Lansdale. He's another bluesman that's really good. The Mighty Diamonds have performed there. They are these three beautiful women who just perform the greatest R&B covers and soul classics ever. And also who comes there is, in my opinion, the James Brown of blues, Mr. Stanley Griggs. The guy is 83 and can still dance and move like, if he was in high school or something. It's really, really cool. So yes, come out to the Seabird Lounge this Friday from 7 to midnight. There will be live blues. You can have some waffles, have some chicken, and a lot of good drinks, and watch some good blues music this Friday at the Seabird Lounge.
How about Fox Coffee Shop? Coffee House?
Well, Fox Coffee House is what I was going to feature this week as far as a venue. You mentioned every other week at the Seabird, every other week at Fox. Well, first, third, and fifth Fridays, they have an open mic there. It's a great little venue. Nancy and I were discussing last week what a good venue it is. They have poetry there. They also have the open mic every other Friday, first, third, and fifth. That's been going on for about 6 years. The coffee house has been there for about 7, I think. And it's a they took what was an old, dilapidated, rundown bar. There was an eyesore. It was one of the worst things in the neighborhood over there. And they went in and they cleaned it up and they turned it into just a real gem in the community. They have a really good menu of vegan food, very tasty, reasonably priced, made in-house. They have a good selection of beverages, once again very tasty, reasonably priced. The open mic is actually hosted by Sean, who is the father of Mary. Mary owns the place, and he does a very good job of hosting it. He's very friendly with musicians. That's one of the few places around that you can get a third song on a fairly consistent basis. And I highly recommend it as a good open mic to go to and try.
Very good. I mean, some place to go, definitely. And it's
It's the first, third, and fifth Thursdays.
Okay.
And it starts at, I believe, 6. You might want to get there a little bit earlier to get high up on the list if you don't want to go last. So.
Dave, you have something special for us. Why don't you tell us?
I always have something special.
Don't give him a straight line.
Is there a gold on there?
Yeah. Okay, so I've been organizing a burlesque show, psychedelic blacklight burlesque show, and I've been putting them on every few months or so at different venues, and this one happens to be a Hellada gallery right in this room here.
Whoa!
Whoa! Seriously,
Say
swear.
Right here.
Right here.
From Hellada.
And every time I've hosted one, it's been like a packed house, like way too many people, hundreds of people showing up. We have to turn away people. So I would suggest if you want to come out to this, come out early. It starts at 7 p.m. on this Saturday coming up. If you want to actually get in and see it, I'd suggest getting here 6:30, maybe even 6 o'clock, an hour beforehand, just to make sure you see it. But it's a fantastic show. There's a bunch of performers that are all body painted. We have 4 or 5 different body paint artists, a bunch of just like dancers, and it's like comedy acts, and it's gonna be a great show. And then I'm gonna put on an erotic film afterwards, it's a premiere. The kind of tailbacks with the show, and then my buddy, the the band of wizards. There's like 6 of them or so, and they're going to perform after that as well. So it's going to be a pretty fun packed night.
So it starts at 7, be here by 6.
Yeah.
And that means be here by 5:45 to find parking.
Yeah.
It means to be here by 5 to find parking.
It means Uber.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it's $10 to get
Very
in.
reasonable.
Yeah, very reasonable
Very
price, especially for burlesque. We go to Harvell's, it's probably like 30 or something like that. So, but this is all a community based. A bunch of people here in Long Beach just wanting to come together to make a beautiful event. So
Cool. Mark, he mentioned that was happening here. I know that there's a couple of exhibits happening here. You want to tell us
What happened last night?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we had grand opening yesterday for this show. Actually, 2 shows. This one, it's Long Beach Open. It's an experiment. We do it for a few years now. Everybody can participate, bring their works, and we exhibit it for 1 month. And then next door is what we call Sensuality and Art Show, and that one had a premiere yesterday as well. And both of them will be here till the end of February, beautifully decorated by a burlesque show by Mr. Dave. So we have this all planned for anybody who loves art, loves to be involved with art community, talk to artists, meet cool people. Definitely here, and especially next Saturday is a day to come, and it's $10 cover. That's my thing for this week. Everything else in the city.
You're going to spend.
Thank you, Jay.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Other than that, all the other museums and art venues, visual art, are as they were last week. So I'm not going to update them. Just I can refer you to the previous podcast, or just look up any particular websites for each venue. They will continue the shows as last week till the end of February. I can see the workshops. That's what I'm very interested in. But Dave, you're quiet on that. So there's no workshops. As far as your workshops, yes.
am I putting on
Like
a
body
workshop?
painting, or you know.
Oh, you want to join my workshop? No, I haven't really organized any workshops in a couple of years. It's kind of hard for me to know what people want to learn from me sometimes.
All right. Well, I'm sure Nancy knows exactly what to do.
I love workshops. I love workshops. Workshops are so good as a writer. Like, oh my gosh. Just getting together like this in a room with some people, sharing some writing is like what I do all the time. So we actually have a very special, very interesting workshop coming up from Bel Canto Books at the Hangout. It is a mini book craft class, so you're basically going to make a book necklace. Like, I've never seen that before. So you're going to make a little tiny book, and you get to wear your little tiny book. So
Can you read it?
I don't know all the details, but I do know the supplies are provided, and you can maybe do whatever you want in your little book. It's going to be led by Joan Goodspeed, a crafter extraordinaire, and it's only $30 to make your own little craft book necklace. So at the Hangout on 4th Street, Bel Canto Books, this Saturday, 2 p.m.
Is there a time frame? Like how long does it take?
However long it takes to make your own little book.
Mini book.
Mini book, 2 p.m. Yeah.
Probably a couple hours.
I would imagine, a couple hours.
So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. To
Yeah.
take a date to. What else we have? We have something about new music.
There is a lot of new music going on right now, folks. First off, Merrick was talking about last night. Shout out to Phoenix and the Fire. They came here and ripped it last night at the Hellada Gallery. New music that's going on. There's a few. These are Long Beach bands that you may already heard of, but some of them have new releases and they're making music now. 3 that come to mind: the Crystal Antlers. I believe they're still. I think they're making music, stuff that's new. Is I guess coming soon. And the Rival Sons are a Long Beach-based band. They're like the new school version of rock and roll. They played around Long Beach a lot, so they're working on a new record, if I'm not mistaken. And the newest. There's a band called The Hope. They're not a Long Beach-based band, but they're called Homemade Jams. It's a blues band, and they are supposed to be. performing either in Southern California or in Long Beach. I don't know yet. Don't have to look them up. But if you look up Homemade Jams Blues Band, they are very, very good. They're all related. 2 brothers, 1 sister. The guitars are made out of car parts from their dad being a mechanic who's also a harmonica player. These kids are good. So if you can find a Homemade Jams Blues Band at Fingerprints or Toxic Toast Records or somewhere else in the city of Long Beach or anywhere else, then I would tell you to buy that album or one of their albums. So,
Gio, I was always wondering, I mean, my perfect question for all of you guys is, so what happens to a person who comes to those events? A lot of viewers have never been in open mic or a poetry reading workshop or even a burlesque. In general, most of the public considers art performing to enjoy, to go to the theater or classic movie theater or a symphony at the best. And we're trying to promote our smaller venues, smaller events like open mics and other poetry groups and other groups. So tell us more about that.
Okay. Jimmy was talking about new music. And one of the places to discover great new musicians is local open mics. You walk in, you sit down, somebody signs up, they perform, you've never seen this person, never heard of them, and in Long Beach, expect it to be good music. The music here is amazing. We've had people play here at Hellada and various other open mics I've been to that are literally internationally recording artists. One night we had somebody playing here who tours for Sony South America. And I was talking with some people afterwards, and they were talking about the level of talent. I mentioned, yeah, one of the people here tours for Sony South America. And they said, which one? I said, you tell me. And they said, could have been anyone, half a dozen of them. I said, welcome to Long Beach. So as far as the audience, it's basically come in, sit down, relax, enjoy. If you're at a coffee house, it might be nice to buy something. If you're a restaurant, here, if you want beverages, they're available at Maggie's little jewelry shop right across the hall. If you want food, you can bring your own here. I sit here and eat dinner during the open mic all the time. If you're a musician or a poet or a spoken word artist, it's basically pretty simple, and we do it basically what most open mics do. You come in and you sign up on the list. Some places you have to buy something first, but basically you come in, you sign up on the list, and you wait until you get called, you get up, you do your performance. As far as what you need to bring, if you're a spoken word artist, you might want to bring a script. If you're a poet, you might want to bring your poetry. If you can do it all from memory, that's great. If you're a musician, most places will have at least a couple of mics and an instrument cable or two. So if you have an instrument that plugs in, a guitar, ukulele, whatever, you can bring that. If it doesn't plug in, they probably have a second mic they can use to mic the instrument. So basically, show up, enjoy. And you'll find the audience is extremely supportive at most of these. So if it's your first or second time up, you haven't been doing any performing, and you want to get over those nerves, which we all have the first few times, an open mic is a great venue to do it.
Last thing, anybody else?
Oh, I have a burning issue. I have a burning point. It's the Burning Issues Book Club. So this is also happening at the Hangout with Bel Canto Books. They're doing some really cool stuff. So every month they have a Burning Issues Book Club that they choose a book that is focused on helping to solve the problems that are facing humanity. So that's pretty big. This one is going to be this Sunday at 12 p.m. Donut Economics, 7 ways to think like a 21st century economist. I don't know what that means, but I would like to find out. This is the Hangout on 4th Street, right across from the Socialist.
Okay.
The big windowed area. It's a big, beautiful store.
like records in there.
There's
and
records.
There's something to do in the back.
There's a beautiful back patio, and they have now this new pop-up bookstore. So they have a bookstore inside the Hangout now.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Hasn't there always been books there? Or
They have different rotating displays, but this is now a permanent pop-up pop-up permanent display of books that are, Belcanto actually hand curates the books that are in there. So it's pretty cool.
You know, I would like to note one thing, and that is, we don't cover it as an art form, but I think it deserves some respect as that, and that is food. And the food in Long Beach is excellent at points. There's places you can get a bad meal, but you really have to kind of look for one. The food in Long Beach is really good. Right here in this neighborhood, if you're coming to the open mic, if you're coming to Dave's Burlesque show, we've got James Republic, we've got Long Beach Taco Company, we've got Thai District. You know, excellent places to stop and get a meal on the way over.
Okay, question about that.
I think we should consider the culinary arts as an art form.
Well, if you have a good argument to support it,
Well, I do.
go ahead.
So I have a few friends actually who do pop-up events, and they work artistic, creative, imaginative concepts into their art, into their food. So I have a friend who does pop-up events called Munch events. So she has done like an alien dinner, and she's done like a hook, like a food fight situation, and she's doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Well,
So
you can find a Sunday when she's not booked, and we can get her in here as a guest. That'd be fun.
I mean, I could definitely bring her in. FYI, she was a dancer. So culinary arts. That is,
Culinary arts dancer.
yeah, she's a culinary arts dancer.
Well, there are makeup artists, there are martial
Makeup
artists, there's a lot
artists.
of other arts. But yeah, we have to be very careful because art is a form of self-expression. And there is a lot of it in other forms of life. And definitely in preparing dinner. And definitely in making and learning how to fight. But that's not really an art form in a clear form, like literature or...
I mean, I definitely respectfully disagree because I do think that you can express
I
yourself
know.
through things like food and through movement. If we consider dance art, then why isn't martial arts?
I can explain, but that would
Okay.
have to be done during our Sunday classes at 3 p.m. Which I invite everybody to.
We're asking you what was happening.
I want to see her dance. I want to see Nancy's friend dance and make an omelet. Culinary arts dancer. Well,
It's performance art. It's performance art.
We're asking Mark what was happening at Hellada, and he waits until the very end to mention the class is on Sunday.
Yeah, I completely forgot to talk about them. But just as a little learning curve here, think about purpose. If something is made for the purpose of self-expression and expresses your inner you, your emotions, your feelings, your philosophy, most of all, then yes, you can consider that an art form. But food is, as a purpose of it, is to be consumed and be nutritious. It's supposed to feed us. It's not a purpose of art. So just that. Think about it, guys. If you have any comments, come to our Sunday class at 3 p.m. We discuss those things in detail.